Hey everyone, we're back again. Good to see you all. Sorry I was a little bit late. I ended up getting a phone call that a family friend of over 30 years had actually passed away in the last 24 hours. So that's really crap. And the person that they're close to, which is one of our family members, is probably going to be very distraught. They grew up together and they lived together in their early years and things like that. So. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Far out. No one was expecting it. It was sort of very sudden. Pretty terrible. Um, so I was able to track down a copy of that press conference. Let me grab that, and then let's get going. Press conference. I wonder if I can use this one. Hold on a second, guys. I just want to make sure I can use this without getting absolutely owned. Yeah, I'll use it. If they hit me up, I'll explain. So this is from Fitz News, FITS news.com. Great people, nice people that work there. Here we go. Let me put this on the screen.
Bones, she was family members of Jessica being here. Jessica's the most important part of this, and at the end of this day, we always want to remember that Jessica should be remembered past anything else. The police department, as well as SLED, has worked hard and tirelessly to try to bring those to justice that have harmed Jessica. But again, going forward, we always want to remember that she is most important. And her mother has been a constant rock. She has assisted me with as much information she's been able to provide and as much information and insight into Jessica's life and how important and what a vibrant young lady she was. And I want everybody to understand that she will be missed. And she was an important member of the Pendleton community. And we enjoyed what I've learned about her. I wish I would have had more time to meet her and speak to her. And, we want to go forward from this. Currently, I'm going to read our update. On September the 10th of this year, Miss Cecilia, Jessica Barnes' mother, reported her missing to the Pendleton Police Department. Officers began investigating the facts and circumstances surrounding her disappearance. On September 16th, I contacted the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division for assistance in locating Jessica. Agents for SLED began to provide assistance to Pendleton officers on September 17th. They were here the next day. Details surrounding the disappearance were vague, and material and personnel from SLED were required and needed for this continued investigation. Pendleton officers and agents from SLED, as well as assistants from the Clemson University Police Department and Pickens County Sheriff's Office, were able to locate a potential site in the Twin Lakes area of Pickens County along Lake Hartwell. During this search, remains were found and later identified as human. SLED agents were able to collect forensic samples, and the SLED laboratory continues to process these samples at this time. The Pickens County coroner was called to assist and provide recovery, assistance, and autopsy services in conjunction with the Anderson County Coroner's Office. Also, a forensic anthropologist from Clemson University helped identify the remains as human. The husband of the missing girl, Brandon Barnes, as well as the two roommates, Kendall Mims and Victoria Trippett, were then interviewed at this time. On October 1st, Pendleton officers and the Pickens County coroner were notified by a forensic odontologist that the remains were identified as Jessica Barnes. A forensic odontologist is someone that studies bones, specifically teeth, jaw structure, things like that. Officers from the Pendleton Police Department and agents from SLED brought Brandon Barnes and the two roommates, Kendall Mims and Victoria Trippett, to the Clemson Police Department to conduct interviews. After those interviews were conducted around 12 a.m. this morning, all three of those individuals were then arrested and charged by the Pendleton Police Department. The following charges were made this morning. Brandon Barnes for murder, Kendall Mims, accessory after the fact, obstruction of justice, and misprision of a felony, as well as Victoria Tippett for accessory after the fact, obstruction of justice, and misprision of a felony. All the agents and officers that worked tirelessly and diligently on this, I would like to thank these agencies: the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, the Clemson Police Department, Clemson University Police Department, Pickens County Coroner's Office, the Pickens County Sheriff's Office, as well as the Anderson County Coroner's Office. This case does remain active, and the investigations continue as we gather more evidence. We hope that as we do this and as this information gets out, I call for any members of the public to, if they have anything or have any kind of knowledge of the actions of the suspects or their whereabouts, that they would report them to the police department.
So I'm going to stop there for a second. You heard what it was about, why they brought in that anthropologist. Now that I've been able to watch the press conference, I watched it a couple of times while you guys were away watching another show. It sounds like her remains may have been in pretty poor condition, considering like they had to verify that those remains were human. That tells me that there's something there about how she was left. To be able to have to call in an anthropologist to verify that it's human is very interesting, and I picked up on that earlier in the earlier show because, like I said earlier, I'd only seen that. Like they might do that at the coroner's office, that type of thing, like later on when the body gets to the coroner's office. But I've never seen them for such an early case bring out an anthropologist. Normally, I've seen them brought out in cases that are like, 10 years old, 5 years old, 25 years old, 35 years old, not a month. Like, to me, that's a little weird, but there may be a very specific reason. And then you hear him talk about the odontologist, and he says very specific. Well, it was a dental. She was identified via dental records. The fact that she had to be identified via dental records is very, very interesting as well. Like that's not a very far amount of time. Was she buried? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that she was buried. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, and I haven't seen anything that says that, but something tells me that the way she was left was not normal. Like, is that not, that's not even really a word. Not just not left on the ground, if that makes sense. Like as a whole person. Like here's a person that died. Oh my God, they're lying on the ground. There's something different about where she was located, how she was found, and under what circumstances. And I reckon we'll find out more about that at some later point. But I know it's been raining. There's a lot of wet weather that's gone through South Carolina, and then they've had now the hurricane go through there too. By the way, the person that I asked to come on here and speak is a person from this particular news agency. I don't know if she's still willing to come on now that the news has broken. I haven't had a reply from her in a little while, but she seems like a lovely lady. I did speak to her a little bit on Monday, and from what I know, they're just a bit. They're struggling a little bit because of the weather, because of the hurricane that went through. Being that this is South Carolina, there's a lot of things wrong. Like there's power down in places. There's other places that have roads that are messed up. There's a lot of relief efforts going to other parts of Carolina. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of coverage. I'm guessing a lot of their reporters and researchers and stuff are heading to do weather coverage of recovery of towns. So they're a little busy with that right now. And she said she would try fit me in when she could, around the hurricane stuff, which I very much appreciate. It's very, very kind. By the way, the hurricane numbers, That just every day it just goes up every day. By the way, Reby contacted me and wanted me to tell you this. Hold on. Let me find it. Reby contacted me the other day and she wanted me to express this to you. If I can find it, which is always a hassle. I may have to search her name. Hold on. Let me get out of this thing and then go back into it. All right. Let me see if I can find my friend Reby. All right. So she says to me here, Ping, can you pass on a message to the chatlings for me? And she has a message for me. Okay, I'm not going to read that bit out. She says, I'm thinking of all the people in the wake of the hurricane. The videos and news reports are absolutely devastating. I hope all my dear American friends and their families in the affected areas are safe and doing okay. She says, sending lots of thoughts and all the good energy your way. Love, Reby. So there you go. That's from Reby, who herself is under a crazy situation right now. I hope she's okay. I hope everyone's sending positive thoughts to her. And when she's ready to tell you what's going on, I'm guessing she will. But yeah. Yeah, Reby is awesome. Yeah. So she wanted me to pass it on to you guys. By the way, Mr. Dan, you gifted a membership to someone. I really appreciate that, Danny. That's very, very kind of you. That helps out a lot. All right, let's keep going with Jessica's stuff. I had to give it a break because of the source, copyrights and things like that. I don't have direct permission to use the video, so.
They can come here to town hall. They can speak to any of my officers. They can call SLED and speak to any of their agents, and we will do our best to follow up and gather more information. Prosecution will continue, and we expect and hope that the 10th Circuit solicitors will prosecute everything to the fullest extent of the law. We owe that to Jessica, and we owe that to her memory. Everything that I know about her, again, she was a fighter, and she stood strong. She believed in what she believed in, and we look forward to honoring her memory. We have to do what we have to do. There are some questions I hope to be able to answer, but I hope that everyone does understand that it is an ongoing investigation and that ourselves and SLED want to make sure that we preserve the investigation in order to comply fully with the law and with the solicitor's office so that prosecution does take place. Before I take any messages or any questions, I will turn it over to Cecilia. I believe she has some statement to speak about her daughter.
Okay.
It's okay. I do it all the time.
Okay. Thank you all for coming and for being here with me and for all the prayers and support. And what can I say? Jessica was full of life. She believed in Jesus and God, and she loved God with all of her heart. And now she's with Jesus. And we're all sad, but we know that she's better over there than in here. She's not with her abuse anymore, and she's in heaven with Jesus. And I thank God and everybody who helped her find it. And I want to thank everybody who prays for us and for the family and for the siblings. And
yes, you might have picked up that she is indeed not naturally American. I think she traveled from the home country to here to look for her daughter. At least I'm pretty sure that's correct. Because at the time she didn't have any family in the area. Maybe I'm mixing up something, but I'm pretty sure that they're not originally from the States. And that was one of the concerning things. So mom couldn't get in touch with her daughter. She's like, "Where's my kid? Like, why won't she get back to me?" Yeah, me too, Brenda. Me too. But the mom, you can't imagine the pain and suffering she's going through. I think for a period of time, she thought she would be getting her daughter back and that she'd be coming home. But I think as the weeks dragged on, you know, that don't think you ever fully give up hope, but the light starts to get dimmer and dimmer, and you can see her here when the police chief Robert Crosby, who I've emailed again, by the way, asking to be put on their media list for this, and watch me get no reply. But you see her here, sort of like looking down and grabbing the altar while he's talking. I think it just shows you like it's taking a lot out of her to be there that day, to be able to talk about the death of her own child, and you know, for her to be able to speak even as clearly as she is, I think takes a brave effort to stand in front of a media pack and you know, give them your thoughts. It's not an easy thing.
And the information was kind of getting put out convoluted via social media. And that's what took some of the time to process the intelligence coming from social media and to filter that out. But we do know that Jessica was at her residence all the way through September the 2nd.
Do we know what, through September 2nd, she was in her residence through?
I'm sorry, August 2nd. I apologize,
Okay.
August 2nd.
Thank you. And I don't mean this as a criticism, but how was it that Pendleton Police got involved a month and a half later, that it wasn't sooner?
We were notified by Miss Cecilia here. It was normal for Jessica to have limited contact, and it was infrequent, so to speak, good days or good weeks with her mother. And when her mother hadn't realized that she had spoke to Jessica after about a month, because she typically calls on the birthday, at that point she became concerned and she reported it to the police department here on the 10th of September.
Ms. Mahar, it was your birthday. She didn't call you your birthday.
She did not go.
When's your birthday?
August 26th.
August
26th.
26th. You didn't hear from her. I understand.
No.
Okay. And then the Twin Lakes boat ramp, is that Anderson and Pickens County? Is that like jurisdiction?
There is a little bit of the Twin Lakes recreational area that is inside Anderson County. Where the remains were located were in the Pickens County portion of the Twin Lakes area.
And you called SLED because you knew it was outside of the town of Pendleton and it was going to be multi-jurisdictional.
We called SLED. Our resources here in Pendleton are very good. They also are limited in some aspects of investigations and some of the tools that the larger agencies around us do have. And with once we realized that our bandwidth had kind of reached its maximum, I knew at that point that we needed some of the assistance from SLED, and they would be able to provide it without any question.
You know, that actually shows a really down-to-earth police chief. The fact that he saw how the investigation was going with his own team and then decided, I think we need some more help, and reached out to another agency, which is SLED, and asked for them to come in and provide support. I think that shows a very mature you know, police chief, which is like, that's his job. Like, that's what he's supposed to do. He gets paid the big money. But yeah, Dark Bloom. Yeah, thanks. Romania. That's it. I couldn't remember the country, and they moved to the States. That's correct. It's a horrible story. I've been told a bunch of other information about this from a source, and I can't name them, but I also can't verify them either. But they told me that within the household of Brandon, Jessica, and the two girls, there was a lot of cheating and sort of Brandon being sort of the only male. He was sort of sleeping around or cheating on Jessica with other girls and fathering. Look, I can't verify a lot of this, but I heard he fathered another child with one of the other women, but it's just hearsay right now. I try not to deal in it because we try and have facts on this channel, but people were asking earlier about the relationships inside that home, and it sounds like it was a really convoluted, a lot of backstabbing, some freaking mind games going on, and apparently there was even some stuff posted on social media from people involved that, you know, just like bickering like 15-year-olds, like, you know, schoolgirls, that type of thing. You have so many fans? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Why? Who asked you if this was your favorite channel? But yeah, look, when I can verify it, I'll reach out to to the lady who works at this particular news agency, and I'll ask when I next get in contact with her. She's quite busy right now with the hurricane. When I next get in contact with her, I'll show her what I've got, and I'll see if she's heard the same thing. And then if I can verify it with her, then I'll share the entire thing with you. But the little bit I can tell you is what I just told you, that there seem to be some weird household dynamics, and that there was some sort of sticking his pineapple in other handbags going on, to not be so, you know, personable. All right, let's get back to the questions here.
And any idea cause of death at this point?
Based on the coroner's report, there was no confirmed cause of death. The coroner's report only listed as a homicide.
Do you anticipate additional charges in Pickens County, or?
I believe that SLED is working on continued investigation inside Pickens County, and SLED would be the best to answer about Pickens County, because Pendleton, we ended our jurisdiction and within Anderson County. Yes.
What detention center is he housed in, or they housed in?
They are currently housed at the Anderson County Detention Center. Their warrants have been served on them, and they should have a bond hearing at 4 p.m. today. 4 p.m. is the scheduled bond time in the afternoon for the Anderson County Sheriff's Office.
Also, do you have a picture of the mugshot? I know their site is down right now.
I do not. They are having critical infrastructure issues with some of their electronics, CAD and dispatch and things like that, and their software program that works that does not. So I currently do not have one.
And also, the Anderson County Coroner's Office sent out a release earlier. When did they get involved? I know since she was found in Pickens County.
Yes.
When did Anderson County Coroner's Office actually get involved with the case?
They got involved when Pickens County Coroner decided to move the remains to Anderson County for a full autopsy. So Greg Shore and his team, along with the ME, was able to conduct that at Anderson at ANMED.
And also, was she killed in Anderson County or killed in Pickens County?
She was killed here in Anderson, inside the city limits of Pendleton.
So it's the understanding the remains were moved to Twin.
The remains were located at Twin Lakes, and we're continuing to look into it and conduct some more investigation to how they got there.
Had she been, I understand just from some of the Force Media reporting that there were some text messages going out after August 2nd.
Yeah.
Cecilia, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I received some messages, I guess it was from him, telling that she went to Michigan with her friends and her accounts were deleted. And she doesn't want to give me the phone number, but I believe it was from him.
Okay,
So those-
Michigan with friends.
Yeah, he was making a story.
So you hear there that they're those text messages that we're talking about for a couple of weeks that we didn't know the context before, but now she gave you a little bit of it, saying, well, we knew a little bit of it, that it said that she didn't want to speak to her mom or something. But now we hear that, she moved to Michigan and didn't want to give her mom the number. Like, Come on. This is a girl who may not contact her mum all the time, but she always calls her mum for big life events. And the fact that she didn't want to give her number to mum, come on. His mum had great instincts to know that that wasn't her daughter, and picked up on it very quickly. People are asking about the bond hearing. Yes, bond denied. No bond for these mother effers. Here, I can show you that here. They're saying the remains of 20-year-old Jessica Barnes, missing since August 1st, has been identified, and her husband is now charged with her murder. On October 2nd, an arrest warrant for 21-year-old Brandon Richard Barnes says he used his arms to strangle her to death. He and the two roommates facing accessory charges were denied bond in a 4 p.m. hearing. So that was on the 2nd, which was today. Well, you know, for some of you, it's past midnight, but you know what I mean, today. They're saying the remains were found late last month at Twin Lakes Park on Hartwell Lake. Okay. We saw that before. Twin Lake. Oh, all right. I want to see that area actually. It was Hartwell, wasn't it? Hartwell. I remember we saw it on the map. Hartwell. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. This lake area is actually quite large. It's a huge water system. And I don't know my way around it. I might do it another day and have a look. But there's probably a map if I can find it. There's Pendleton, Twin Lakes Pendleton. They're saying it's Hartwell. Someone from the area might have to show me. Because, like, here, I'll show you the area quickly. Look at the water system. It is huge. It's just massive. You get up here, it's into Clemson, but this is the Twin Lakes area down here. But should be a place called Hartwell, which I swear to God we saw it on the map earlier today, but yeah, I don't know where it is. And we don't have time for me to sit here for 10 minutes looking for it. It says here, Crosby said on October 2nd that half of his 6-person town police force had worked the case since Jessica's mother, Cecilia Vivara, reported the disappearance on September 10th. Crosby called SLED for assistance just under a week later. Police searched the couple's Laurel Drive home on September 20. Her remains were found later that day in the Twin Lakes recreational area, just over the county line in Pickens County, though it took a few more days to confirm they were human and that they belonged to her. That little bit of information is really interesting to me, that it took a few more days to confirm that they were even human. Like there's something weird there. She's only been gone for about 6 weeks, something like that, 6-7 weeks. Even if you put a person in a high humidity environment like Houston, and you left them there like for 8 weeks or whatever, you would still be able to tell that they were human. So why were they unable to instantly verify that they were human bones? There's something here that we're not being told. There's something about the way she was left that maybe we'll find out. Crosby said Barnes likely died on August 2nd at her property in Anderson County. And then he says she's not with her abuser anymore and she's in heaven with Jesus. That's what her mum said. You know what makes it really sad to me is that her one shot at motherhood was with this absolute loser who ended up killing her. And it's a shame that she never got to see the baby live and be born and, you know, survive even for a while. And that to me is really sad. Her one shot at motherhood. And it was a stillborn baby. It's very sad. Oh, look, here's Loser McLoser right here. Oh, he looks great in orange. All the prison guys are going to want him. He looks like a hillbilly Justin Bieber. Look at that hair. Look at that hair. Looks exactly like Justin Bieber. He's going to get a lot of attention. A lot of attention from all the inmates. There he is for his bond hearing. He looks great in orange. Provided reporting pool. Oh my God, a reporting pool? Do they go swimming there? On October 1st, Pendleton police and the Pickens County coroner learned that a Clemson University forensic odontologist who studies the structure and disease of teeth had confirmed the remains found in the park belonged to Jessica Barnes. They said 2 other people were also charged in her death. That's Kendall Faith Mims and Victoria Lee Tippett. The chief identified these women as Barnes's roommates. They were charged with failing to report a crime and aiding to dispose of the victim's body. Oh, look here. Yeah, you look very meek and timid at this point. Why, where, why weren't you more courageous when your friend was being dumped in a freaking lake? Where's the other loser? Where's the other one? Oh, here. Wait, where's your orange shirt? Hey, someone get her an orange shirt. What the hell's going on? Victoria Lee Tippett appears for her bond hearing. Who gave her a Winnie the Pooh shirt? Someone get her an orange jumpsuit. She doesn't deserve any luxuries. They don't look very remorseful. This guy's just got permanent freaking pouty face. Every photo I see of him, he looks like this. He's got like permanent pout face. She looks very happy with her actions. Very happy. What a beautiful girl. What a beautiful girl she was. Looks very much like mum, eh? She looks so much like her mum. Look at this. Permanent pout face. This is when he did that stupid interview and gave over that letter. What's with the pouty face? Are you trying to audition as a Victorian Secret angel? What do you call it? Like the angels that walk in their underwear down the runway? They all do that pouty face too. Is that what you're trying to do? Because you don't look sad. Don't look sad. That's not the look of sad. That's the look of I'm trying to display some emotions and I'm not doing a good job at it. Okay. They say Jessica was the oldest of 5 siblings. Her siblings, aged 12, 14, 16, and 18, and her aunt attended the October 2nd press conference at Pendleton Town Hall, along with Mayor Frank Crenshaw. Her mum says she was the oldest and she was the one who helped me with them. Oh, it's really awful. A spokesperson for the family, Troy Stiles of Blunt Force Media. What is Blunt Force Media? Like, they did an interview with the boyfriend too, and now he's a spokesperson for the family. Okay. Described Jessica Barnes as strong and as a person of faith. She was a bold personality. She had dreams. She had ambition. Little by little, it was stripped away from her. Yeah, by this controlling loser. Hope you feel like a big man having to overcome a woman with your arms to kill her. Yeah, no, yeah, they got a lot of flooding going on right now. I reckon they're pretty lucky they found her just before the hurricane came. Like they got it, what was it? A few days beforehand. That is so lucky. Imagine if they couldn't locate her and then the hurricane came in. It could have washed her away and it would have put her in a completely different location. They are really lucky. Yeah, just before the hurricane. He's just sad he got caught. Now he can think about it in prison. It's just makes me angry, these guys who abuse women. It's like he had his own harem. That's what it's like. When I read about the dynamics within that household, it's almost like he had created his own harem in a house in Carolina, in South Carolina. He's, the one man with 3 women. Says here, in a town of 4,000 people not used to violent crime, the case has been all the talk of Pendleton. Businesses kept piles of missing person flyers by their tills, and the case was a frequent topic of discussion on social media in the area, with hopes that she might be still found alive. The community held a candlelight vigil for Barnes the night of September 20 in Pendleton Town Square. That's the same day they found her. So September 20 is the same day they actually found her was the day they had the vigil. Crosby, who was the police chief, said the last murder in the town was in 2019, so like before the pandemic. There you go. There you go. Let's put these up again. There we go, Mr. Pouty. These are just kids, man. It's so scary that they would just be okay with it, right? Like you can't be that afraid of this guy that you can't go to the police. Apparently, like, I'm not sure which one it is, if it's her or her, but one of them apparently had multiple opportunities to speak up and tell them what happened. Yes, I do need. But okay. Yeah, one of them had multiple opportunities to speak up and just decided, no, I'd rather protect this guy. Rather protect. Oh, he wears an XL. It's a large size for such a young man. Who the fuck's calling me? Yeah. Sorry, guys. There we go. Let's have a look. All right. Okay. Sorry, someone keeps calling me. Calling me. Rachel says, "Ping, please follow this case for us." I will. I'm hoping we still have our interview, and you'll hear a lot more about it. A lot more. Okay, that's weird. My cat is like playing with something down here. I'm trying to figure out what it is. COD, cash on delivery. Who's giving me cash on delivery? Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching Muffin do something. Okay. I'll sort that out once we get out of here. Yes, yeah, we're definitely going to be following this case till trial, till wherever. Because I'm guessing these guys are not going to be pleading not guilty. I mean, guilty. I'm guessing they're going to try and fight all this for a long time. That's how Stinks got electrocuted. Yeah, I remember that when Damon's cat got zapped. No, he's not playing with power. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, a bee got in. I might have to deal with that. Guys, give me a second. I have to deal with this. Hold on. All right, I locked it in a bathroom. I'll deal with it later. Yeah, it's a bee, like a big one, like a bumblebee type thing. I went out before to go get some mail and packages. I must have let it in when when I came in, and then halfway through the show, it started flying again. So it's probably when I went out before, just before the live show. Yeah, it was a bee, like a bumblebee, like a bumba, which is a Croatian word for bumblebee, a bumba. You don't want to know the Croatian word for lady parts. I only know the bad words. I know the bad words. I know how to say bat, and I know how to say bumblebee. That's it. That's it. That's all I know. I only know the naughty words and bumblebee and bat. Bumblebee is shmishmish. There you go. If you want to know some Croatian. No. That's bat. Bat is shmishmish or something like that. And lady parts is it's a pishka. So there you go. If you want to speak some Croatian to people, don't say that last one. Someone might hit you. That one literally means like the vulgar term of lady parts. All right. Let's keep going, my lady friends and girls and gentlemen. Let's go. All right, I think we're done with this one. We're done with Jessica for now. When I want to have more about it, I'll bring you more. I was hoping this was not going to be the end, but I just had a feeling anytime anyone reports someone missing or doesn't report them missing, but they've been gone for such a long period of time and their loved one just refuses to do anything about it, it just always says to me that they're the one involved. Just like Naresh Bhatt, just like this guy, Brandon. They all think that they can somehow talk their way out of it. They can talk their way out of their wives being missing. It's not possible unless you're, unless you're Susan's or Susanna's husband. Then well, he'll get his eventually. All right. Yeah, let's go to KCCI. If I can make this happen. Yeah.
Wilson's body was discovered from a farm field in Poweshiek County.
Hard to believe it's been 3 years. Xavier went missing just before his 11th birthday. And now, 3 years later, the search for his killer is still ongoing.
Xavier Harrelson was a bubbly, kind-hearted boy excited to celebrate his 11th birthday. But just days before he got that chance, he vanished over Memorial Day weekend in 2021. No sign of him at the Montezuma mobile home where he lived with his mother, or anywhere in town. 4 months later, investigators finally caught a break in the case. A heartbreaking discovery in this farm field a few miles outside of town on September 30th, 2021.
I started mowing up this waterway here.
Dustin Cummings is the farmer who found Xavier's body. He did his first ever interview with KCCI in May and took us to the very spot.
I was literally right here, somewhere in here.
Is it hard to stand in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets to me, but also just glad he is at least found. I hated that it was like that.
After this story aired, Cummings says Xavier's dad and aunt reached out to him. A phone call thanking him for finding their boy. 3 years later, still no arrests.
How many suspects, if any, do you have in this case?
In this case, we have a number of persons of interest that we're continuing to evaluate.
In May, DCI agent Ryan Kedley told KCCI they are getting closer to solving the case. Today, they are still actively working to catch Xavier's killer.
I'm very confident that there's going to be a resolution in this case.
And Xavier's mother, Sarah Harrelson, is currently in the Polk County Jail. She was arrested in July for violating her probation in a drug case. Court records show she underwent a substance abuse evaluation on September 9th.
Well, today marks 3 years since Xavier.
A child missing for 3 years. Yeah, the mum is very suspect. The fact that she's having dependence testing in jail too. Monday marks 3 years since Xavier Harrelson's body was discovered in a farm field in, is it Powesheik County? And it says Harrelson went missing just before his 11th birthday. 3 years later, the search for his killer is still ongoing. They're saying the 10-year-old vanished over Memorial Day weekend in 2021, and no sign of him was found at the Montezuma mobile home where he lived with his mother or anywhere in town. 4 months later, investigators finally caught a break in the case. A heartbreaking discovery was made in a farm field a few miles outside of town on September 30, 2021. And they have a thing here from back then. Let's see. Look at the farm fields.
The search for answers continues 3 years after Xavier Harrelson went missing from his Montezuma home. Still no arrests in the case, but investigators say they are closer to finding out what happened to the 10-year-old boy.
A farmer discovered Xavier's body months after he disappeared, only on KCCI. That farmer speaks publicly for the first time to our Laura Terrell.
I started mowing up this waterway here because it hadn't been mowed yet.
Powesheik County farmer Dustin Cummings describes the day he stumbled upon a discovery that brought heartache to an entire community.
That's when I saw the clothing.
The extensive 4-month search for Xavier Harrelson ended in this farm field. Cummings walks us to the exact spot he found the 10-year-old's body on September 30th, 2021.
I was literally right here, somewhere in here.
Does it feel, is it hard to stand in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets to me, but also just glad he was at least found. I hated that it was like that.
The field is just 3 miles from the mobile home Xavier shared with his mother. Cummings says he'd worked in the field multiple times, but the grass was too tall to see anything. That day, something stood out.
I was going up this hill, pulled back down, looked it over, kicked the grass around, and then that's when, that's when I saw the shoe.
And like, what if you never would have come back around? Like, who knows? You know,
That's the part that probably was ran through my head the most was, what made me turn back around.
A shoe was the first clue. Cummings says he then recognized the pajama pants investigators describe Xavier wearing the night he disappeared.
It wouldn't have been for the clothing, the blue and black checkered, whatever that was, pajama pants or whatever. I don't think I would have kept going.
The trauma of that discovery stays with Cummings, but he hopes to be a voice for the little boy he never knew. In Montezuma, small signs of hope still sprinkle the town square.
Initially, when we hung these up, we thought we would leave them there until he was found. But I don't know. I kind of feel like we need to leave it there until justice is served.
This ribbon has stayed on Jackie Boland's business for 3 years. The former mayor says she has faith law enforcement will solve this case.
I know that they want to figure this all out more than anyone.
The case is far from cold. DCI agents say they are still applying for new search warrants and following new leads.
This is by far the biggest in terms.
I'm going to leave it there because I sort of don't believe them. They've done not a great deal in 3 years. I mean, they're still freaking searching for who might have killed him. They're saying here no charges have been filed in relation to his death. The KCCI paper that we're on now reports that his mother was arrested in July for violating probation in a drug case. They said at the time of his disappearance, reports indicated that Harrelson was a caretaker for his mother, who was an amputee and required assistance putting on a prosthetic leg due to an undisclosed health condition. A neighbor allegedly reported Harrelson's disappearance to authorities, not his own mother. You have to ask, how did a small child make it out into a field outside of town, like in the middle of the night or whatever? Like, it doesn't make any sense here. And I think the answers to what happened to him are closer to home. That's what I would say. Yeah, she had a missing leg. She was an amputee. By the way, nothing against amputees. We actually have some in the chat, and they're lovely people. Doesn't make them any different. They just have a different life. That's it. So we're not picking on an amputee here. Rachel says, I hope they make an arrest soon. 3 years is a long time. It's almost a third of that boy's life that he was alive, right? A third. If it was one more, if we go to next year, it'll be over a third of his lifetime or his life on Earth that he's now been gone, and we don't know who caused him to die. So that's a very long time when you think of it like that. Right. Odd, right? That she didn't report him missing. A neighbor did. I'm not sure if that's ever been released. Yeah, his cause of death remains undisclosed. So undisclosed to the public. Trailer park. I think it is a trailer park, yeah. Hold on, let me double check. I'm pretty sure it is a yeah, what do they call it? They call it a mobile home park. That's a trailer park, right? You got to help the Australian out because we don't have them here. But a mobile home park is the same as a trailer park, I think. 10-year-old caregiver, I know. 10-year-old should be going off being a boy, riding bikes and blowing up stuff with firecrackers, not looking after his mum. Angela says, my bloody parents call me if I'm away for more than 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. Okay. Very sad story, and the anniversary was only a couple of days ago. That's why I wanted to talk about it. But I do remember when this happened, and the sort of search was on for him, and he was found in that field. So really, really terrible. Let me see if I can find anything else from new about it. Yeah, 2 days ago on KCCI. Is this the one we just played? I think it is the one we just played, unfortunately. Yeah, I find it interesting, that video. Investigators say they're very confident they're going to solve it. We'll freaking solve it then.
Marks 3 years since 10-year-old Xavier Harrelson disappeared in Poweshiek County. A farmer discovered his body 4 months later. Still no arrests in the case, but investigators say they are getting closer. KCCI's Laura Terrell talked with the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation about where the investigation stands today.
In law enforcement, occasionally you'll have cases that you don't have to get motivated for. This is one of them. Xavier was a very, very special kid.
Ryan Kedley is the DCI agent in charge of the Xavier Harrelson investigation.
And I can say without hesitation that I'm very confident that there's going to be a resolution in this case.
For 3 years, Kedley has been on a mission to figure out who killed the 10-year-old boy from Montezuma, and the case is far from cold.
We're in the process of applying for a lot of different search warrants for a lot of different areas where we think investigative material could be located.
A neighbor reported Xavier missing on May 27th, 2021. At the time, he lived in a mobile home in Montezuma with his mother, and neighbors say the two were fighting loudly the night before his disappearance.
Has Xavier's mother been helpful or cooperative in this investigation?
So Sarah Harrelson, in the opening days of the investigation, did sit for a number of interviews. Beyond that, we have gotten a lot of good cooperation and help from Xavier's father and extended family.
Sarah Harrelson has a history of drug use. 1 year after her son's disappearance, she was caught selling meth to an undercover officer. There is now a new warrant out for her arrest for violating her probation in that case. Court records say Harrelson is living on the streets, still using drugs, and is not following mental health recommendations.
We love you. We're not going to stop looking for you. We're going to find you.
In her only interview from August of 2021, weeks before Xavier's body was found, Sarah Harrelson said she believed her son was still alive. She has not spoken to the media since.
How many suspects, if any, do you have in this case?
In this case, we have a number of persons of interest that we're continuing to evaluate.
James Lowe, a former boyfriend of Sarah Harrelson, was arrested within days of Xavier's disappearance for an unrelated federal weapons charge. This mugshot is from a previous drug arrest in 2016.
James Lowe has sort of been brought up as somebody who knew Xavier's mother, was around, had other criminal charges. He's now out of federal prison for an unrelated charge. Are you guys concerned about him?
He was certainly someone that was identified as being a part of Xavier's inner circle. And so given some of the legal issues that he's had over the years, most recently, some federal firearms related charges, he's obviously someone that we're in the process of assessing what role, if any, that he had in Xavier's life.
The DCI is not revealing how Xavier died. A farmer found his body 4 months after his disappearance in this field.
I don't really understand what you're assessing and why it takes over 3 years to do such a thing. I've seen faster investigations move quicker for a quadruple homicide that took like 2 weeks to solve. And that was an unknown killer, like someone who was not related. So the hell is going on in this particular one? You can rock up to the cameras all you want. You can look very teary-eyed and tell them how dedicated you are. But like, it's 3 years later, bro, and you can't tell us anything. You can't tell us who might have done it. You can't tell us why they might have done it. And you can't bring charges against anyone. I'm not saying that you're a failure or anything, but it's a long period of time. In 1 more year, it'll be 4 years. And then a year after that, it'll be half a decade. Once you get to that point, you're at 50% of that kid's life. That's a long, long time to be just like, oh, yeah, someone killed him. Who? I don't know. Some guy. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Go on a rant and then ignore everyone. Ping. I don't know. Is that old one? I don't care if it's 3 years ago, a year ago, a day ago. Still don't have any charges. 4 months ago. Says 4 months ago. Yeah, if you can't figure it out, bring in the state agency or bring in the federal agency, like whatever you have to do to make sure that killer is behind bars. Because right now, in your community, you have someone who killed a child and dumped them in a field, just wandering around. Like, they might be in jail too, but you don't know that for a fact. And if that isn't the case, then you got a child killer who's just wandering around the area. Could do this to another child. What if another child ticks him off or her off? Sorry, we're not gender bias here. Could be a woman or a man. But like, what if they kill another child? What are you going to say then? Oh, it's going to take us another 3 years to solve this one. I mean, I appreciate police's job. They do a hard job. It is not an easy job, and they deserve all the accolades for when they get stuff right, and they deserve the pat on the back for doing the job every single day. They do. That's not a falsehood. They really do. They risk their lives. They do a very hard job, and they deal with the crappiest people of society day in and day out. But when cases hang like this, you have to look at what's important. And what's important is restoring community faith in the police. And if you have to do that by reaching out to another agency, then so be it. It's just... All right. Yeah, it's just my opinion. But like, I'm pro policing. I have been on this channel a lot. I mean, we've done both sides of it. We've done when they do a great job, and we do when they need to kick up the ass. We do both. We're not a channel that just sits here and has a go at police. We've said when they do a wonderful job and applaud that, and when they need a bit of a boot up the bum, we do that too. This particular case, they need to boot up the bum. They need to shoo up their ass, apparently. Because that's a long time. It's a long time. How do you restore community faith when you tell them that you can't tell the community who killed that child in 2021? It's disturbing. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Mrs. Ping was calling, asking me what I wanted for dinner, and she was trying to tell me something. She's like, they have these what did she say? She goes, "Oh, they have these Korean dumplings," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll have Korean dumplings for dinner." And then she's like, "Oh, they're not dumplings, they're frozen sushi." I'm like, "What do you mean they're frozen sushi?" And she's like, they're not the because there's another brand, the same brand does dumplings." And she's like, "No, no, they're not pot stickers. They're they're frozen sushi rolls." And I was like, "What the hell is that? I've never seen a frozen sushi roll in my life." And she's like, yeah. So I'll show it to you here. This is what she found. And she's like, do you want that? I'm like, no, I want dumplings. But yeah, anyway, weird. Brenda says, Ping, is Mrs. Ping healing well from her surgery? Sort of. I think she'll have to have the surgery again, unfortunately. It helped somewhat, and she's somewhat better, but she's not 100% better. She's just somewhat better. So I think she has to have it again in a couple of months. No, I'm okay. The internet's here. I had to jump off for a second. Mrs. Ping was calling, and she gets a bit impatient. She wants me to answer because she's like, I'm the one picking up your dinner. You answer the phone. She goes, I'm not going to sit here all day and wait for you to call me back. Which is, fair enough. Me either. I've never seen it either. Anyway, she's like, can I get it? I want to try it. I'm like, sure. I don't care what you spend. Anyway, we'll see what it is. I'll tell you tomorrow if it was any good. Never heard of frozen Korean sushi, but okay. Frozen sushi is our norm here in the Yukon. Really? So have you had this one, this Korean one, Evil? You'll have to let me know because I've never seen it before. It's a new product apparently. Yeah, bizarre. This is what I wanted. I'll show you. This is what I wanted. I was asking you to find this, and you'll see why. It's the same brand. This brand, Korean brand. These are Korean barbecue flavored dumplings. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you what I'm eating for dinner. Monday to Friday we try and eat very simple because it's just too hard. We're too old, but we used to cook a lot from scratch when we were younger. But now we're a little older. It's just a pain in the ass. Like trying to cook from scratch every night is just no. It's just not going to happen. Before we sit down and even have like a drink in the evening, it's like 7:30 at night. So trying to cook dinner at like 7:30, 8:30 at night is just a pain in the bum. Retired Oren said those dumplings are so good. I know, right? I had the kimchi ones last week. They're so good. It's called kimbap. Yeah, I know. I've had them at a Korean restaurant. I've never had it frozen though. That's why it was confusing because I've never seen a frozen one before. Like these were in the freezer. Yeah, anyway. She bought this one and they had a bulgogi one too. So we're going to try that one and that other one for dinner. Yeah, I know. You guys, if you ever want to know what life is like for Evil Alaska, watch Flying Wild Alaska. I swear to God, it'll give you a great insight into how economy and food and supplies and medicine work around the Yukon and Alaska and Fairbanks and stuff like that. I love that show and I hate that it ended. It was such a great show. Patty says, I was taught to make sushi from my Japanese Hawaiian neighbors. Did they teach you how to make poke too, that poke bowl? Sean says, Japanese gyoza. Yeah, they're pretty good too. I will let you know tomorrow how the sushi is because like I'll do my workout and then I'll be really starving by the time I see her and I'll be like, give me the sushi. And I'll eat that before dinner. Because like I find doing the workout, I have a protein shake in the afternoon, banana, protein powder, and 2 scoops of peanut butter and full cream milk at the moment. But if I put on a bit of weight, I'm switching to skim. It's just to bulk up a little bit. And then I'll get really hungry about 6 o'clock and I'll eat the sushi. And then we eat late. We eat at like 9 o'clock at night. So it would be a popsicle in the Yukon. Beans and lentils. We made lentil curry last week. It was so good. It was really good. I don't think I've ever eaten lentils before, but we made a curry and it was really good. It's quite good. Yeah, sorry. I know what it's like. Someone spoke about pizza the other night in the chat and I was so hungry and I was like, how dare you bring up pizza in my chat while I haven't had lunch yet? I was like, oh my God, pizza would be great. Yeah, I get it. Okay, let's do one more and then let's get out of here for the day. It's been a long day. It's been a long day of covering Jessica Barnes. Actually, what a sad case, to be honest. Hate the fact that it ended exactly like we thought it would. Like 2-3 weeks ago, we thought, it's probably going to be the husband, and it was. All right. How about we leave on a nice note and I give you a very cute story? Do you want a cute story instead of someone dying? Let's do that. Apparently, in Australia, they have put a webcam inside of a tree where you can see a greater glider family live inside of the tree hollow. And this is a greater glider, different than a sugar glider. They're a little bigger, they have a little longer tail, and they're black, not grey. They're sort of like a black bushy color. And these guys are endangered, and they're sort of like a possum slash, little tiny guy, and he's got really big ears. Look, here he is. Let's see if I can find a photo of him. There he is. He's a greater glider. There, look at his tail. Look at that tail. Look how monstrous that tail is. You could fly with that thing like a helicopter. Look at that tail. They're so cool. He could rug himself up in his tail like a keep him warm in winter. They're so cute. So they're different from a sugar glider, which Americans will know from pet stores, which is horrific to all Australians, by the way. All Australians hate the fact that you have sugar gliders at pet stores. And I'll tell you why. Because as an Australian, a lot of us have never even seen a sugar glider. I think you cannot really own them as pets here, and they live in the wild, and they're very secretive. They live at the top of the tree canopy, and they don't come visit humans very often. So please don't own them as pets. Please don't buy them for your children, and they do not like living in captivity. If you do end up buying a sugar glider, you have to buy 2. You cannot have 1. You buy 1, it'll literally stress itself out and give itself a heart attack, or it'll cry all through the night and it'll just scream. They live in colonies and they like the company of other sugar gliders. So you need to buy at least 2 if you are going to do that. But I prefer to see them in the wild. So if you love those type of wildlife webcams, they've put up this new one where you can see a greater glider on a live show. Let me see if I can find you here, broadcasting live from a tree. Here, the greater glider live stream. Are they on now? Look, there you go. You can see them in their little thing, hanging out. How do you get in there and watch it? Oh, you just have to sign up with your email or whatever. So apparently they just had babies. They two babies and a third. So they're in the mum's pouch right now. So being a marsupial, they have a pouch, and the babies live in the pouch. Is that right? A marsupial? Yeah. Yes, I think so. Like other Australian animals, some of them are marsupials and they have the pouch. So if you want to watch the sugar gliders, you can do that. By the way, if you don't know, every spring, actually it might be open right now. Hold on. Are they up? Oh, they're up. They're up. It's right now. I always forget every spring. But in Melbourne, where I live, they built this like nesting spot for the falcons, and they're really rare. And every year, this is live right now. They come and they hang out here, and then eventually they have the babies, and you see the babies grow up and fly away. Unfortunately, the last couple of breeding seasons, last year, the mum got in a terrible fight or got injured somehow and was so sick that she couldn't sit on the eggs anymore, and she was away from home for too long, and the eggs become non-viable, so they didn't have the babies, unfortunately, last year, and the stream ended early. The year before that, they did have some babies. A couple of them survived, but a few of one of them caught a disease from a pigeon, which it meant it couldn't feed. So Dad would often bring it fish and other meat and stuff, and it couldn't eat it. It couldn't open its mouth big enough to take the food. And the dad kept trying, and he kept trying to give it food, and it was really sad to watch. But the baby ended up dying and did not survive. But everyone is hoping for a good breeding season this year and a good clutch of birds on this one. And everyone's hoping that they all make it through the season to birth this year, like hatching from the eggs. So there you go. Oh, what's he doing? He's like, oh, there's an idiot Australian talking about me. I can hear him all the way from here. Where is he? I can see him. I can hear him. So yeah, if you like the birds, that's the Collins Street. This is 367 Collins Falcons 2024. And they have a few different angles. So there's another one. They're not there right now. That must be Mum. And then Dad must be away, because it's normally Mum on the nest and then Dad's normally over here. But I could be confused. Sometimes Dad sits on the nest and then Mum flies away. So they take turns. But there you go. Oh, is that a bad egg right there? I hope they haven't already had a bad hatch. That would be bad. Or maybe it's from last year. I don't know. So yeah, they have a couple of different angles that you can watch the falcons. And if you want to watch the sugar gliders, I'll get you the link. Hold on. Yeah. So if you want to watch the sugar gliders, you can go here. And if you want to watch the falcons, you can go to Mervac 367 Collins Street website, which is this one. And you can watch the falcons have the babies. Actually, the gliders have babies right now. Mum has babies in her pouch. The Collins Street ones, maybe they already have eggs, because this bird is not moving at all. Maybe this one has eggs underneath it right now. That might be true, because it ain't going anywhere, and it's not getting up and walking around. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but there is also a Facebook group and a Reddit page for these birds, and they know if you want to catch up and find out what happened, you can read about it there at their thing. So he's looking for your budgie. You better protect him. Oh, Brenda says, I have a new kitten and it does not meow. It sounds like it's clicking its teeth, and it sounds like it's chirping, the cutest darn thing. It's only 9 weeks old. She probably doesn't have the muscles to do it quite yet. Her name is Orna? Orna's the way I would pronounce it, but yeah. Okay, I'll show you more animals. You have squirrels and possums coming into your yard. They are fun to watch. Yeah, Rachel, you should film the squirrels. Send it into squirrelnews.com. All right, I think that's it. But yeah, head over to 367 Collins Falcons 2024, and you can watch the falcons have some eggs and see if they hatch. If they do hatch, they'll probably hatch in late October or early November. That must mean that there are eggs under here. Must be, because it's already October. So they're right in the middle of egg sitting season right now. Oh, what's he doing? He like puffed up his neck. He's checking on the eggs maybe. He's like, oh, what's going on down there? We should do like bird watching in the afternoons. In the afternoons, you can come and hang out with Ping and do bird watching. Yeah, 367 Collins Street. They're called the Peregrine Falcons. Is that what they're called? Peregrine Falcons. So that's what they are. Here's a little page of them. So this is what they look like. They live in Toronto too, apparently. They live all different places. But how this project started, the one you were just watching, back in like the 90s, someone wanted to put a box up there because the year before, 2 falcons tried to nest there and were unsuccessful. So they started the Falcon Project, and they built a box up there for them to nest in, and they actually got a successful nesting the following year. So ever since then, they've been doing it to up the population of the falcons. And this is right in the city of Melbourne, right in the city. Like, it is not in the suburbs or the bush, it is downtown. Hold on, I'll show you. It's right downtown. All right, here, I'll show you on the map. So this is the building right here. This is 367 Collins, and the falcons are somewhere on the ledges up here. Like, I don't know if it's on this ledge over here or somewhere, but they're on the building up here. I don't know how you find them, but they're somewhere up here. Oh, by the way, they don't intervene at all. So last year when the baby was sick and couldn't eat and that, they don't go up there and interfere with the birds at all. Because a few years ago, something happened and they did try to go up and rescue one of the babies, and they ended up scaring the baby and the parent, and they jumped off the edge. And that's why they don't do it anymore, because yeah, it was a real disaster. And last time they freaked the birds out and they jumped off the edge, but like they weren't flying yet, and they just got so scared by the human that they just jumped off the edge to their demise. So very sad about that one. So yeah, right there in the city of Melbourne. Here, if we zoom out, I'll show you. See, right in the middle of Melbourne, right in the middle where these falcons live, right near the river. Oftentimes they come down here to get their food. So they'll come down to the Yarra River and try find fish or other things that they can eat. And they'll bring them back to the nest, not too far from the nest here. So there you go, if you want to watch the birds. A homing pigeon. Osprey cams. Oh yeah. A budgie is sort of like a parakeet, but it has a flat beak, like a flat against its face. All right. Hey, I love you. I love you all. You're all great people. And I love hanging out with you for every single day. We're on 7 days a week. It's the greatest joy in my life is coming here and hanging out with all of you. Thank you to Danny and Sienna for the gifting the memberships to people. That is great. Growing the community. I like it. And let me just quickly check the other one before we go, because I would hate for someone to feel left out. All right. Sean for today. Sean, that was very nice of you for earlier. Sean sent in a donation. That is very kind. Yeah. Hey, have a great night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow night for more true crime action. Huh, interesting. Sean, thanks. Sean sent a photo, but I'm not able to get it. Hold on, maybe. We've got too many photos. Here, last photo. Sean sent this. I think it's a falconer. These guys are like what they call falconers in Peru. And Sean says they use them to keep pigeons away from the city. So there you go. Pretty cool photo of a... That's why he's wearing the glove, so it doesn't get his hand. All right. Hey, love you all. Love you all. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. Bye. Bye. See you later. Good night. Bye.